Okay, welcome to CIS 3334 Mobile Device Programming. We'll be looking at Android programming, of course, and I'm going to provide you a quick introduction to the course today. Um, so the course is set up in Blackboard, and first I suggest you go to Getting Started and make sure you go over the syllabus. My contact information is also here. My name's Tom Gibbons. I've been teaching for like 20 some years at St. Scholastica. Um, and I've been teaching this Android course for a number of years also. There are other resources here that are available, but again, make sure you go to the syllabus here. Here's the syllabus and go over that. Um, Standard syllabus material, my contact information is here. Some access to resources are here. Of course, outcomes are of course here. Our assessment plan is here, so you'll have weekly assignments. There'll also be practice exercises every week for you to work on. They're worth half of what an assignment is. There are weekly discussion posts you have to do. There are 2 exams and 1 final project throughout the course. Um, There's some more information about work here. One thing that comes up a lot is for if you miss work, if you submit work late, I deduct 20 points automatically for late work. Uh, all of our work will be due Sunday night in this course. So once you get into the course, we'll have these learning activities. Um, I'll try to enable these learning activities as we go. Android Studio and the software has been updated, so I'm re-recording a lot of these lessons and redoing a lot of the assignments this course. Although everything's here, I'm not going to release it all right away. But Unit 1, like, is a standard unit. You'll have an assignment that you'll have to do, and before you do that, we'll have you do a practice assignment. So there'll be a practice assignment here. Uh, Practice assignments are good because I often provide solutions to these. They're just ways to give yourself some exercise with the software and what we're learning with. Feel free to ask each other for help with these. Ask me for help. You can share entire solutions to practice assignments. That's not a problem. Um, and then we have the regular or full assignments, not the practice activities. And again, uh, generally you'll be doing these on your own more. You can ask for help or assistance, but we don't want students to provide full solutions to these to other students. Um, so we have this assignment discussion every week where you can ask questions either about the practice activity or the full assignment. You can ask a question about it, you can answer a question or provide a hint, that sort of stuff. You can also just provide some bonus challenge or some additional course material, some article you found related to Android or Android development or this course. So feel free to submit that link. So you just have to do one post, either ask a question, answer a question, or one of these other options every unit. All 3 of these will be due on Sunday nights, so everything's due Sunday night. But I expect some of you will be working throughout the week on these things. There'll be some learning resources tied every week. I also tend to post with the learning resources, a separate video going over that material. On some of these, it will be frequently that I'll post at least a video for the practice activity to walk you through that activity. And sometimes I'll post a short video going over the assignment. So, um, that's the basic structure. Um, there will be options to get together and for online office hours and to kind of build a community. I'll have office hours online every week. Please fill out this doodle survey. It's for like next week times. Or the second week of class times, but assume it's for any week times, and I just want to look at what days you are available for, since things are due um, on Sundays, I have sometimes on Wednesdays, lunch, or in the evenings, and these are Central Standard Times. Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. My experience are these are the best days. But again, we can't have all of these, so I want you to vote, and we'll try to select office hour times that hit most of you for that. I'm also available for one-on-one consultation, either by phone. Feel free to text me or call me. We can set up a Zoom session anytime for work through an assignment if you're having trouble with something. We also, I'll have an option some weeks to have you skip the practice activities and join an online discussion. We'll just set up a Zoom session and go over the practice activities and talk about that material for that week. So if you participate in that, you won't have to do the practice activity or submit anything for that. So that'll be another option that I'll have on some of the weeks. We'll be using two different software packages throughout the course. Let me just jump to the course schedule that's in the syllabus. The first 2 weeks we'll be using Android Studio, which is a block-based, web-based system from from MIT. Originally started at Google. And that we use in our computer science principles class, our CIS 1001 class. Some of you may have had that, though it's a relatively new course. And so some of you may not have had any app invented yet, but we'll spend the first 2 weeks on that. Then we'll switch over to Android Studio, which is Google's advanced Android development environment that uses Java, and we'll spend the rest of the course working in that. Although we're looking at Android development, we'll be covering lots of concepts that relate to different development packages, certainly some advanced Java concepts, some patterns and methods and calling things. We'll also be looking at some advanced cloud-based systems, parsing XML and JSON stuff, data over the cloud, and using both an SQL database and a non-SQL database that's cloud-based, called Firebase, that's developed by Google. So we're developing apps in all of these different systems. Hopefully a lot of this, while it's certainly applicable to Android development, there'll be a lot of crossover to other development environments, depending on where you're going with this, with your careers. There's no textbook required in the course, and the software is all free. The software, Android Studio, will run on either Mac, Linux, or Windows. It is a rather large install, so it does. You might want to make sure you have a machine with some free disk space, because it's a couple of gigs to install it. It is nice to have an Android tablet or a phone available. There's some cheap ones out there for $50 or so. I'll provide a link to a couple of those. So that's an option. You can get by the course without an Android device. We do run emulators in Android Studio, so you can certainly do an emulator for the whole course. So that certainly is an option. No textbook required. We will be using the Google developer site a fair amount. They have a lot of nice tutorials here. I've looked and tried to use textbooks before. Problem is the published textbooks are all out of date relatively quickly, and Android is changing very quickly. There are some nice online textbooks there, but they tend to be, and you can subscribe to them. They're, for like $30 to $40. And before I've used like the Busy Coder's Guide to Android and Tech Media's version of that. They both have the problem is that those textbooks are often about between 800 and 1,000 pages long. They go over almost too much material, and they're not very selective what they cover, and they still seem to miss some crucial material that I want to cover at the course. So what I've done is I've gone through a number of textbooks and a number of tutorials and stuff like that, and selected a set of concepts that I think fit this course very well. That's why that's where this comes from in this mapping here. The problem is we only have 15 weeks, and Android's a huge area. So again, I'm trying to look at what are some crucial things and also some skills that will apply to areas beyond Android development for that. So for that reason, we will be using and relying a lot on Google's training material here and some of the Google things. There's a couple other well-known training sites we will be pulling some tutorials from when needed. So I'll tend to link you into one or two key tutorials every week. The first week's kind of strange because we're kind of doing overview of Android. So again, I'm linking you to a couple overview questions and that sort of stuff. You don't necessarily have to read all of these. I just provide them because in the assignment this week, we actually have a set of questions on Android. So you just read through the questions and then you should be able to use these resources to jump you to the right places for this unit. So I think this is a fun class. I think we learned some really significant stuff, and I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to comment or talk to me if you have any questions or suggestions. My contact information, again, is in the Getting Started area in the syllabus, but also here, both my cell phone number and my email address. Hope you enjoy the course.